Hi, my name is Sydney Ramirez, and the purpose of this presentation is to utilize the knowledge I've acquired thus far to appropriately interpret children's behaviors and actions in play as demonstrations of developmental achievements. First, we're going to observe gross motor development. In this picture, we see a child barefoot outside on a sunny day. He is standing in the grass. He is balanced on his left foot, his legs straight, while the other is stretched outward in front of him. He's looking ahead and smiling at a red ball that is midair. He is watching the ball fly away from him, showing focus in his activity. His fingers are curled and his arms are bent by his torso. So this is clearly an outdoor activity. We see the child smiling. So clearly he is focused on the reaction that is caused from his foot hitting this ball that is now flying away from him. So for an outdoor activity to add, I would include a goal of some sort for this ball play so the child can learn to coordinate his movements to kick a ball to a specific target. So again, adding with movement and adding intention with movement and purpose. I would motivate the children to expand on their gross motor development activities outdoors by keeping the environment stimulating. I would have a game of hopscotch, for example, but instead of just chalk to sidewalk, I would add bubble wrap on certain squares for a more exciting, stimulating experience, especially if the child is outdoors barefoot, as he is right now, feeling the bubble wrap and hearing it pop as he steps on certain squares will just be a lot of fun. But again, it's adding intentionality to his play, which leads me to my first gels I see here, which is PDM 3.2a, acts and moves with intention and purpose. Again, that is something I would want to focus on here because I see the child is enjoying a cause and effect relationship and how he affects the things in his environment. An additional gel I see would be APL 3.2D, repeats successful actions and experiences. Again, just enjoying that cause and effect relationship and how he is causing that reaction. Next, we have fine motor development. So we see a child laying on his stomach on the floor. Both of his hands are grasping his Lego figure. His left hand is gripping the base of the structure while the right hand places a pink Lego on top. His eyes are focused on the piece he is working with, and he is smiling. He accurately aligns the bottom Lego piece to the top to connect the two and increase the height of his structure, showing coordination. So here I consider this block play area, and since the child seems to be building maybe a train or a semi-truck of some sort, I would put pictures of train tracks, roads, tunnels, or bridges in the block area so that he can be inspired to use his Legos or other blocks to recreate these images. This can extend his block play into dramatic play or into an investigation of large vehicles or construction. To support, going back to fine motor development, to support that, I would take the theme of vehicles or construction and extend it into the Play-Doh play to create vehicles, then help create roads and bridges for them to move their quote-unquote vehicle cutouts on. Two gels I see here would be APL 2.2C, explores and manipulates familiar objects in the environment, that being the Legos. We got some building sticks here. Again, this could be used to create the roads that his vehicle, whether it be a train or a semi-truck, is driving on. We also have PDM 6.2B, performs simple fine motor skills. Again, coordinating to place that small 4-pegged, it appears, Lego on top of the other. You see that there are other shaped Legos also stacked on one another, with the base being Legos with wheels on them. Following that, we have cognitive development. We see a little girl here sitting up, but her body and head are tilted downward on her right. Her right leg is bent at the knee and upright, where the left leg is bent, while the left leg is bent at the knee as well, but resting on the carpet. Her right hand is placed on the carpet beside her right leg. There is a manipulative peg toy in front of her. We see her place differently colored octagon blocks on various, pegs at different heights. Her expression is relaxed. Her eyes are focused on the red block in her left hand. She's placing it on the tallest peg that it already holds blue, yellow, and then another blue peg. So here is math and manipulative center example. So to expand on this activity, I would add a toy like the Montessori cylindrical sorting blocks so that the child is using her new knowledge of sorting to place the cylinders in the correct slots. I would support this cognitive development skill by asking open-ended questions to get the child started on explaining their method of classification. For new materials, I would start the categories such as separating one for every color, then letting the child follow. Some gels I see here would be CDCP 1.2a, explores the effects that simple actions may have on objects. Again, she is stacking them on one another. They are different leveled pegs. So she's exploring like what happens when I put this one on this peg, but I have more I want to put, so I should probably put on this taller peg. Another one is APL 1.2C, independently selects materials and utilizes those materials. It can be assumed that this is a self-correcting toy, doesn't take a lot of adult interaction after initial demonstration of how to use the toy. So it could be assumed that the child chose to get this peg toy and place the blocks according to how she felt. Nobody told her you have to put the green ones on the shorter pegs, then line up the blue and the yellow in A-B patterns. You can even see that the last block she's putting is a red one, so it doesn't follow the initial pattern, which opens up the floor for open-ended questions for the teacher. Why did you decide to put the red peg instead of another yellow peg? Just encouraging her to start the discussion for her thought process. Again, emphasizing the cognitive development skills we are seeing here. Next is language development. We see a child standing by the dramatic play area kitchen with an adult. The adult is smiling and holding a toy phone to the child's left ear. The child is staring straight ahead with her mouth open to speak. Her left hand is at her side while her right arm is bent and resting on her torso. Her expression is neutral but appears focused. So it seems to me that this, given that there's a play kitchen, that this would be the dramatic play area. So to foster language development in this area, I would add a mood poster next to the phone, then ask the child to identify the tone of the phone call by asking who called, how did they sound? This will help the child understand how to identify feelings and how to appropriately respond to them. For example, if the child is pretending to take business calls like they see their parents do, they can point to the face that looks frustrated or mad. And we can help them find these words by saying, oh, so who called? Oh no, was it a business call again? Did they forget to file that paperwork you asked for? Giving them the role of tough CEO or something. Even if they can't necessarily find the words to identify what role they're playing, you're still encouraging language development. So another way I would support is to find a way to engage the child's dramatic play by either inviting myself into the scene or by asking open-ended questions that keep the child engaged in the activity. So as I mentioned before, maybe giving the child some words to identify their role, how they could react to the feelings being set in the dramatic play scene, and just giving us an opportunity for one-on-one interaction by being invited into the play scene. Two gels that I witnessed here would be CLL 2.2A, demonstrates understanding of words through actions and or conversations. So you see the adult smiling and holding the phone to the little girl's ear. It doesn't appear that she is holding the phone, so it could be assumed that the adult set the stage for this play scene by saying, "Hey, someone is calling you. Can you say hello?" And we can assume that the child is mimicking behavior she's seen before and saying hello into the phone. APL 5.2C is another gel I see here, shows creativity, inventiveness, and flexibility in his or her approach to play with adult guidance. Again, the adult may be the one holding the phone and setting the stage, but they're elaborating on the scene that they started by maybe adding their own dialogue. Again, going back to the scene I created earlier of the CEO that is frustrated at an employee, they couldn't elaborate on that by, saying, they didn't turn in the work I wanted, or whatever that they want to add on with. Here we have an example of socio-emotional development. We see two children sitting next to each other in the grass. The young girl is holding a ball close to her chest and her right arm, out of the other child's reach. The young boy's right arm is extended out, reaching toward the ball, while his left hand is planted on the ground. The boy's expression is blank, but focused on the ball, while the girl is looking at him. She is not crying or speaking, but she appears to be reluctant to relinquish the ball since she is not handing it to the boy or putting it within his reach. So this is another outdoor activity, but rather than focusing on cause and effect, we're seeing an interaction of two peers. So for this setting of outdoors, I would add balls of different sizes and colors so that the children will not be as reluctant to share because they are aware there are enough balls for everyone. So hopefully encouraging more sharing, more turn taking, and less concern that if I don't hold on to this ball, there's no other balls because of lack of materials. I would also demonstrate multiple games the children can play using the balls so that they will be more interested in releasing the ball for the thrill of a game rather than keeping the ball close to them without really interacting with it. I would support socio-emotional development and scenes such as this by allowing the conflict to play out between peers. There's no immediate danger because this will help them learn to self-soothe and empathize with others. At this age of 2 going on 3, I would hope that they would, have a somewhat grasp on self-regulating. Children can't be perfect. Again, especially if there's a item that they want to keep close to them, it's going to take some repetition of the behavior of, okay, it's not okay for me to hold this ball close to me and not share with my friend, because when that happens, they cry. So learning empathy and, again, turn taking and sharing. So two gels I see here, SED 3.2A. displays understanding of engaging in routines, rules, and appropriate social behavior. So, as I mentioned before, she is holding it close to her chest, but not necessarily far, far out of the child's reach. She is focused on his face, and as a teacher observing this child and seeing this potential conflict play out, I would interpret her face as reading his emotions. He doesn't appear to have any strong emotions right now other than ball, I want, musket. But I would appreciate her socio-emotional developmental growth here because I could see she is attempting to understand his emotions and so that she can perform the appropriate social behavior. SCD 5.2C is another one. occasionally resolves peer conflicts with adult support. Again, if there is no immediate danger to either child, I would let the conflict play out because they must learn self-regulation. And in this situation, there doesn't seem to be immediate concern. So I would like to see the child be able to resolve a simple conflict of sharing a ball outside. Lastly, we have self-help development. Here you see a little girl is standing and holding a spoon in her right hand and a cup of yogurt in her left hand. She's staring straight ahead. Her mouth is wide open as her right hand leads the spoon towards her open mouth. There's yogurt around her mouth, but only a small amount. Her grip on the spoon and yogurt cup in her hands is firm. She demonstrates coordination by using the spoon to scoop more yogurt from her cup and leading the spoon back to her mouth over and over again with minimal mess. So yes, there may be yogurt around her mouth, but at least it's not in her hair. It doesn't appear to be on her shirt or even on the other hand that's holding the cup of yogurt. So that's showing great coordination. So for eating times, in order to help encourage self-help development, I would allow for napkins to be easily accessible to the children so they can extend their self-help skills to good personal hygiene practices. At the end of eating periods, I would have a step stool available at a lower sink to make hand washing with adult assistance easier because, this is 2 to 3 year olds, so while they may be able to wash their hands on their own, they should still have an adult guide them and assist them because you don't want hand washing to turn into water play because that's not the focus we have here. There is a designated area for that. One way I would support self-help skills is simply by modeling appropriate eating and cleaning habits, such as sitting while we eat and washing hands before and after meals. And it's the cheapest way to support this particular level of development. And children are very much so monkey see, monkey do. So the best way to encourage this skill is to just demonstrate it in your daily routines and how you interact with the environment. Two gels I see here would be PDM 2.2B. Eats a variety of nutritious foods and recognizes healthy foods. She seems to very much so enjoy this, what appears to be plain vanilla yogurt. And as a teacher, I would love that because 2 to 3 year olds do love salty or sugary foods such as flavored apple sauces or pouches, and maybe some goldfish. So it would be nice to see and include a variety of healthy, nutritious snacks during eating times. PDM 6.2A would be another one. Coordinates the use of hands and fingers. Again, she has a firm grip on both the spoon and the cup. You can see the spoon is pointed directly at her mouth. It's not going towards her cheek or her chin. It is right in the mouth area. And you'll notice too, next to the firm grip she has on the cup, she's not fisting the spoon to her mouth. She's actually holding it more so with her fingers, the way you would see an adult hold a spoon. So again, great coordination is being shown here. Here are my references. A lot of the focus would be on the, a lot of the assessment and observation videos and articles we read throughout the course because they really helped me learn to identify little things such as how the child was holding the spoon in the previous slide. And that completes my presentation. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.